You read a book, feel inspired, and believe it will change your life, but a week later, you can barely remember anything. Why does this happen? Studies show that we forget up to 70% of what we read within just 24 hours, unless we adopt effective methods to retain the content. This occurs because the brain, without a conscious retention process, quickly discards information it deems irrelevant. But imagine if you could turn every book into a permanent learning experience. Visualize the ability to revisit the lessons whenever needed, to apply what you've learned instantly, and to truly transform your way of learning in a deep and lasting manner. Today, I will share simple yet powerful methods to help you remember everything you read without having to rely on a photographic memory. If you're ready to absorb, retain, and apply knowledge in a way you've never experienced before, let's start with the first step: reading with purpose. One of the biggest mistakes readers make is starting to read without a clear goal. Many people open a book without reflecting on the real reason behind that choice. When you don't establish a purpose, your brain cannot identify what is most relevant, and the chance of retaining that content diminishes significantly. Setting a clear objective before you begin reading creates a focal point that activates the memorization process more effectively. This is essential for transforming the knowledge you gain into something that goes beyond mere reading, becoming an integrated part of your life and daily practice. So ask yourself, why am I reading this? What do I wish to learn from it? How can I apply this knowledge practically in my life? For example, if you are reading a book about productivity, your goal might be, I want to learn effective techniques to manage my time better and be more productive every day. By having this clear intention, not only does your retention improve, but the practical application of what you've learned becomes more relevant. Clarity of purpose not only keeps your mind engaged, but also helps your brain focus on what is important, making the learning experience more meaningful and lasting. By setting a well-defined purpose, you signal to your brain that the information is valuable, which facilitates retention. With a clear objective, your attention aligns with what truly matters, enhancing the effectiveness of your learning. Without a defined purpose, the mind tends to wander, making it more challenging to absorb new information. Step 2. Practice active note-taking. Reading passively is like letting information flow in one ear and out the other, leaving no traces in memory. Instead, engage actively with the material. Highlight the main ideas, write your thoughts, questions, or connections to other knowledge in the margins, and try to link what you are learning to previous experiences. This approach makes reading an interactive process, reinforcing retention and practical application of the content. Summarizing each chapter in your own words is one of the most effective strategies for consolidating knowledge. When you can explain content clearly and simply, it indicates that you truly understood it. This practice forces your brain to actively process the information, restructuring it in a logical and personal way. This cognitive effort deepens understanding, strengthens memory, and reveals any gaps in comprehension, allowing you to correct flaws before they become obstacles. Step 3. Teach what you learned using the Feynman technique. There is a powerful principle behind this approach. If you can't explain something simply, it's because you don't understand it well enough. This is the core of the technique created by Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist. The methodology is simple yet profound. 1. Read a portion of the content carefully. 2. Try to explain what you learned as if you were teaching it to a 5-year-old, using simple words and practical examples. 3. If you get stuck or your explanation seems confusing, go back to the original material, reread it, and reformulate your explanation until it's clear and accessible. By doing this, you force your brain to transform passive knowledge into active learning. This not only reveals flaws in understanding, but also solidifies what you've already grasped. Step 4. Adopt spaced repetition. Think about how you memorize the lyrics of a song just by hearing it multiple times, even without trying. This happens because repetition at strategic intervals reinforces neural connections. Spaced repetition works on the same principle. Reviewing content at set times, e.g., after 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, prevents forgetting and promotes long-term retention. The principle is simple, yet extremely powerful. By reviewing content at increasing intervals, the information becomes more firmly established with each new contact. For example, after your first reading, review your notes within 24 hours. Then, do another review after a week and again after a month. With each cycle, memory strengthens and the chance of forgetting decreases dramatically. Instead of consuming content once and letting it fade from memory, distribute learning over time. This method not only increases retention, but also reduces the cognitive effort required to recall the content in the future, making learning lighter and more efficient. You will find it easier to apply this knowledge in diverse contexts, from exams to practical day-to-day situations. Another essential element to enhance memorization is to make studying visual. The human brain is highly sensitive to visual stimuli, processing images up to 60,000 times faster than words. Therefore, transforming abstract concepts into diagrams, graphs, or mind maps can significantly boost retention. Instead of limiting yourself to linear notes, create a mind map. Place the central idea at the center of the page and connect the main topics with branches. Use vibrant colors, symbols, drawings, and even doodles. These visual elements serve as anchors that help embed the content more deeply and clearly. By associating each new piece of information with a vivid image, you significantly strengthen the connection to the content. Our brain is highly visual, and transforming abstract data into concrete scenes activates deeper memory areas. For example, when studying a historical event, imagine the scenery, the sounds, the emotions of the people involved, as if you were actually present in that moment. This approach turns learning into an immersive experience, making it more engaging, enjoyable, and memorable. Think of your study process as watching a movie in your mind. Create scenes rich in detail, with movement, emotion, and context. Picture yourself as the protagonist of the narrative, walking through the events, interacting with characters, feeling the environment. The more sensory and cinematic this visualization is, the easier it will be to retain and access the content in the future. The sixth essential step is to apply immediately what you've just learned. Knowledge that isn't put into practice tends to dissipate quickly. Action transforms theory into wisdom. A simple and powerful way to do this is to teach the content to another person, whether in a casual conversation, a study group, or on forums and social media. Discussing ideas, asking questions, hearing different perspectives, and explaining in your own words activates active learning. This continuous cycle of testing, applying, and reviewing solidifies knowledge, making it truly yours. Write about what you read, record your thoughts, or create a blog where you share your insights. The key is to use what you've learned. If you read a book on productivity, put the techniques into practice right away. Your brain prioritizes information that is useful, and the quicker you use what you've learned, the longer that information will remain alive in your memory. Now imagine never forgetting what you read, with each book influencing your decisions, shaping your thinking, and driving your success. The secret lies in reading with purpose. Take smart notes, teach what you've learned, and apply it immediately. Don't wait. Use these techniques now and transform your reading into something unforgettable. Instead of cramming everything at once, you revisit the material in a planned way, gradually increasing retention and reducing mental overload. You've probably heard that the brain retains information better when it is reviewed over time. This phenomenon is called spaced repetition, one of the most effective techniques for consolidating long-term memory.